No internet. Yeah. No, it's out in the open. Right. It says no internet access connection connections available. Now, when I clicked on it that time, I've got a I've got a place where it says available, and then right beside it says not connected. It says password protected, connected secure. Now let's see if we do that. Yeah, I've got it now. Yeah, I've got connection now. So. Okay. Do what now? Megabytes per second. Download is 47.8. Okay, 3.40. Yeah. I haven't hooked it up. Huh? I can see what it does and then go from there. Okay. All right, we'll try it and see what happens. All right, thanks, bud. Okay.
Check. Check. 1, 2, check. Check. All right. Good morning, everyone. This is George Allen. We're broadcasting live from down at Jackson County, down at Millwood at the Jackson County Regional Airport. And we have got all kinds of things planned out for today. We've got several people that we'll be talking to throughout the day. We've got Brigadier General Christopher Walker. He'll be with us here in a little while. And also, we have got Victoria Yeager. she'll be here, and we'll talk with her a little bit, and just trying to get things set up and going. Hopefully, everything's sounding okay. I've got my phone pulled up here to where I can see comments. If you all can kind of let me know what things are sounding like, if I need more or less, just let me know, because I'm at the mercy of the system right now and not sure if it is sounding good or not. And we have several people that have been watching. Joe Blosser. Hey, Joe. If you're still listening, let me know how it's sounding. Got Matt Coleman. Sherry Burgess Williams is also watching. Trima Dill McPherson. And Jeff Boyles and Rob Taylor. If any of you folks are still watching, please give me a thumbs up if everything is sounding okay. We have got the um, DNR set up over here as well. And we have also got HealthNet. HealthNet is here. We're kind of tucked in here beside the hangar and the building for the facilities here as well. Go radio silent for just a few minutes and we'll be right back. Yeah, I can hear you. Look okay and sound okay? All right, I'm going to take it from. All right, thanks, Welby. I'm seeing. All right, thanks, bud. All righty. And good morning once again. This is George Allen. We are broadcasting live down at Jackson County, and we are at the Jackson County Regional Airport. And this is absolutely fantastic down here. Like I said, you've got the DNR set up down here, you've got the Air Force set up, you got the Civil Air Patrol. Excuse me. And Health Net is here, and I'm going to get up, move over here to the camera, and see if I can get it pulled around here. And zoom in here a little bit. You'll see a bunch of vehicles over on the other side of the runway over there. And what those folks are doing over there, they have got model airplanes, and they are flying those model airplanes, and they have the ability to let you fly those airplanes. I don't know if you saw that one just took off, and you'll be flying that airplane. If you get into trouble, they've got two controllers. The one guy that is working with you, he'll have a controller, you'll have a controller, and if you get in trouble, then he overrides you and straightens out the aircraft. So we're going to have some fun in here today, so be watching. Come on down. It's beautiful down here. On my way in, turning in off of the main road down here to the airport, I encountered about 22 turkeys. That was awesome, and we have got a very special guest with us. And make sure I got my mics turned up here. Sam, how you doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. And give us a little rundown on what we're doing.
What we're
throughout the
doing
day.
here is we are trying to just get children interested, children, adults, and everybody interested in aviation. What we're doing is we've got, U.S. Air Force recruiters. We've got RC planes going on. There will be, a couple planes in the air flying. Unfortunately, the kids will not get a fly today, but that is being rescheduled for October 5th. There's a robot, there are 3D printers, flight simulators, health nets out, and Civil Air Patrol, and just all kinds of stuff going on. Come down and meet Victoria Yeager and General Walker.
The guy next door to us here with the AMA, he was telling me that the gentleman across the runway over there they're flying model airplanes.
Yes, they are.
And they have got the ability to let the kids or an adult, whichever, take off and fly that aircraft. And if they get into trouble, they've got a second controller and they take over from them.
Yes.
So seems like it's going to be a lot of fun throughout the whole day. Kind of anxious to talk to Victoria Yeager and to also talk to the general. I know they'll be here.
They are here.
Oh, they are here?
I will go
Okay.
speak with them and get them over here towards you here in just a
Okay.
little bit.
That'll be great. But how long are you guys here today?
We are here till we're going to probably slow things down about 3 o'clock and
Okay.
start closing things up and cleaning up.
I'm with you until 11, and then I've got to break down and head for Arnoldsburg for the Molasses Festival. So we're busy today.
Oh yeah, you are. Yes, you are.
Drew is over at the golf course in Roane County. They're having a golf tournament over there today as well. So we've got stuff going on everywhere.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So
But-
what I'll do is I will go talk to General Walker
Okay.
and Victoria and see if I can get them over here so that you can kind of,
That'll be
with 'em.
fantastic. We'll, we're going to try to get to the other vendors that are here and ask them if they'd like to come on as well and talk about what they're doing as well
Yes.
throughout the day. this young lady behind me, she helped me get my cords and stuff set up. So I'm going to bring the Girl Scouts on with us here in a little bit. She doesn't know that yet, but we're going to.
That sounds great.
But Sam, thanks for having us down here.
Thank
and
you.
I'm sure we'll talk to you a couple more times before we're done today.
Probably. All right. Thank you,
All
sir.
right, bud. Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
And like he said, he is going to go over and find the general and also Victoria Yeager and bring them in here and let them talk with us as well. And you know, I I really like this idea of what they're doing here. I was talking to the gentleman next door to me here. He is part of the Academy of Model Aeronautics. I can't talk this morning, but he is going to be on with us a little bit and talk about model aircraft and getting the youth involved in that. Folks, there's a lot of fun to be had in this. I have experienced it once or twice myself in my lifetime, and when I was in Maryland and on the air up there, there was a huge club up there, and they had their own facility. They had their own runways, and they flew all kinds of different aircraft. I mean, anything from real small all the way up to about a 6-foot wingspan. So this is a very fun activity for the youth and for adults. So come on down to the Jackson County Regional Airport, and we'll have some fun. All right, we're going to go radio silent here for just a minute or two, and we'll be right back. right. We are back alive down here at Jackson County Regional Airport. And I have got a very special guest with me, Brigadier General Christopher Walker.
Hello, can you hear me okay?
I can hear
All
you
right,
fine.
excellent, excellent.
I'm going to actually turn you down just a
Okay.
smidge because you're like I am. You got a booming voice.
It's the military in me. I project.
Exactly. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Holy smokes. Okay, so I'm looking at all of these youngsters out here,
Yeah.
some as young as 2,
Yes.
but it was probably when I was about 4 or 5, one of the first times that I was getting an airplane ride to fly to see my grandparents on a commercial jet, and back then they used to open the cockpit door and let the kids in. And I remember the pilot putting his cap on my head, and then they gave me a set of plastic wings. And that's when I said, oh my God, this is what I want to do. And I'd never changed. My father, he always wanted me to be a doctor. And I go, and yeah, that's all fine, but that's not what I want to do. I want to fly. I want to be an astronaut. And so I really, really tried to pursue it as much as I could, but I had no money to get any flight lessons. And I said, okay, maybe I could get the Air Force to teach me. And I was...
Who better?
Who better? Well, see, back then I had no idea that the Navy, Marines, and Army all had aviation. So
Right.
in my mind, the logic said it's Air Force, right? So that's the way to go.
Exactly.
But I made the mistake of talking to a recruiter, and he was going, yeah, I'll have you fly, and he was lying to me, and by the grace of God,
They wouldn't do that.
oh no, never ever. The grace of God, I met a young lieutenant who had just graduated from the Air Force Academy. I saw his uniform, and I said, "Hey, that's that uniform that Tony Nelson from I Dream of Jeannie. That's that same uniform he wears. I think I ought to talk to this guy." And the whole "I Dream of Jeannie" thing might go over a lot of young people's heads, but
Yes.
we all remember. But when I talked to him, I said, "Yeah, I want to fly." And so I'm talking to a recruiter, and he said, "Okay, you know you have to be an officer." And I said, "Why do I have to be a cop?" And he goes, "No. Do you know the difference between an officer and enlisted?" And he saw that I knew nothing. And he sat me down, and he told me about the Air Force Academy, ROTC, and Officer Training School. But he said, if you really want to fly, go to the Air Force Academy because they get all the flight slots and give the crumbs to ROTC. And I said, thank you. And after that, I made it my mission in life, do or die, go to the Air Force Academy. And I did not apply to any other college, and my father was not happy about that. And that's putting it mildly, because again, he still wanted me to be a doctor.
Right.
I said, yeah, but this is what I want to do. And but my career, holy smokes, I entered uniform July 20th, 1983, as a reserve enlistee, and then went to the Air Force Academy, and after that was commissioned in 1988. But I've been wearing the Air Force uniform. Well, I retired October 1st of last year, so Tuesday will make my 1-year anniversary. But I was in uniform for over 40 years.
Wow.
And it became a way of life for me. And a lot of people thought, oh, did you do it for the benefits? I go, no, actually, it's because, first of all, I had almost nonstop action and adventure. And I'm that kind of guy. And a lot of people will say, I want to fly fighters. And I go, hey, okay, that's fine. But I think if you flew C-130s or C-17s,
Yeah.
you would have a heck of a lot of fun. You just don't know. It's not the same. A lot of folks talk about flying. Is it easy? It's not hard. Taking off and landing an aircraft is not that hard. But using it as a weapon system, that's where it becomes
That's
hard.
where it becomes hard. Yeah.
And so a lot of folks who fly F-15s will tell you, oh, that plane will fly itself. but then using it as a weapon for air to ground or air to air,
Right.
that's a whole nother thing. And that's why we go through all of this training.
Right. It's a whole nother monster in itself.
It certainly is, but
I-
it takes that the kind of grit to do that. And when I come to these sort of events, I see young people, I see the diamonds, and I go, okay, we got to get that kid either to join the Civil Air Patrol,
Right.
or Scouts, or both,
Yeah.
or junior ROTC, and try to get them commissioned. And I really, I don't care if they fly airplanes. They could do cyber, they could do logistics, they could do intelligence. I just want them to be great citizens.
Anything.
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
you know, drone program.
Oh, drone program. Matter of
Yeah.
fact, the Civil Air Patrol has
Right.
an extensive drone program.
Right.
And but once these kids find out about the Civil Air Patrol, you can see their eyes turn into saucers. And I go, see, we
I
got to
can
get
do
the word
this?
out. Yes.
You know.
I can get to fly in an airplane for free. Yes. Oh my God. And these are things that are best kept secret. And
Right.
it should not be a secret.
Right. I know when my brother, we were talking about his career in the Air Force as well. When he was in Vietnam, he said that his big thing that he liked the most was he got to service several times, not just once, but several times. Puff.
Oh, the Magic Dragon. There you go.
So, you
Matter
know,
of fact, in a couple of weeks, one of my classmates, he's retiring as a 3-star, Lieutenant General Michael Plain. He's the president of National Defense University, but he came up in AC-130 gunships.
oh wow.
And matter of fact, one of my first deployment to fly into Afghanistan, we were at a forward base together on Masira Island in Oman. That was back in 2002. And I said, Mike, back at the academy, we called him Smiley. But I said, Mike, what are you doing here? And he was leading a contingent of the gunships to go up there and blast the Taliban. And so so it was good seeing him.
You know, that takes a special person that is able to control that aircraft,
Oh, yes.
because like you were saying, you know, they pretty much fly themselves, but when you get into a combat situation,
You have to be
a
aware that other people
whole
are trying to
different
shoot you down.
exactly.
And then you also have to keep the plane steady enough so that the guns are on your target. It's a cat and mouse thing,
Right.
and you have to have skill.
Exactly.
But just about, I won't say everybody because I've seen some folks who were hopeless, but just about anybody can get to that skill level with the training as long as they
Right.
put their mind to it.
The mindset is a whole lot of everything when it comes to the military
Oh, yes.
in general.
Oh, yes.
You know that as well as I do.
Oh, yes.
I mean, if you don't have the mindset,
I-
it may not be for you.
I say it all the time. This is not for everybody. And a lot of, matter of fact, I got into a conversation earlier today with someone who was saying, we should bring back the draft. I said, I don't know. The mentality of most young Americans back in the 40s during World War II was a lot different than it is now.
Yes.
And they wanted to go fight. We had young people who lied about their age so that they could go fight. Nowadays, not so much. So I would prefer, I still prefer the all volunteer military because we're getting the people who want to be there.
Yes. And, you know, if you want to be somewhere, you're going to put your heart and soul
That's
in.
right. You're going to put in the effort. You're going to do what it takes to be the best.
Exactly. And, you know, you think about Vietnam, that era, and, you know, there was so much uproar in this country over
yes.
the draft and everything else. But
And some of the soldiers, some of the service members didn't want to be there, and not to get grim, but there was a lot of fragging. If they thought that their superior officer was going to get them killed, they did that person in with grenades or shooting. And I go,
Yeah.
holy smokes, that doesn't happen now because
there was a lot of friendly fire
yes,
in Vietnam.
yes.
And You know,
Nowadays, that's unheard of because we have better leadership and we have people who actually want to be there.
and from what I've understood with friends that I have that are military, former and active, um, the camaraderie from the boot all the way up is just unbelievable.
It is. I have friends uh, that I've known for literally 40 years,
Right.
and and many of them, if I haven't seen them in 5 years, when we meet again. It's like we've been talking all along.
Right.
And it is a very, very strong bond. I've even cautioned people, as I've been in long enough to see that the military camaraderie can be so tight it will actually make spouses jealous because they will talk about things amongst each other and won't tell their spouses, and that causes some friction.
I'm sure it does. And, you know, there's certain things that you can't talk about
Exactly.
as well
Exactly.
because of national security.
That's right.
And, you know, I understand that and respect it completely because there's things that we don't need to know.
That's right.
Because if we did, we'd be running.
I suspect a lot of people would be turned into preppers if they knew
Yeah.
a lot was going on.
Exactly. So are you here for the whole day?
I'm here for most of the day. I do have an engagement this evening back in Charleston at the Clay Center, but I'm gonna be here to try and watch. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of these kids up in the aircraft. It looks like the weather is getting better now,
Yeah,
and so
it looks like it's starting to
to-
open up a little
I
bit.
can actually hear angels singing.
So you going to fly?
We'll see.
Maybe?
I want all the kids to get their chance first,
Yeah.
because that's really what it's all about. My day is done with the military. And in general, I should be just trying to mentor a lot of these youngsters to be our next leaders.
What was your favorite aircraft?
Well, I would say the C-130, but the especially the H3 model, because of the performance and the equipment that we had that enabled us to do things that other aircraft weren't able to do then. For instance, in the first weeks of us flying into Afghanistan, we were, because of the radar that we have and the other equipment we have on there, we could put on our night vision goggles and we can totally black out the aircraft so that the Taliban wouldn't see it. They could hear us, but they wouldn't see us, and we could land on totally blacked out runways. It was better if there was a little bit of moonlight, but we could,
Using the night vision.
using night vision goggles and the radar, we could find the
Wow.
threshold and land. And matter of fact, some of the first flights where we were bringing in the special forces teams who were going to prep the
Area.
airfield and make it so that everybody could get in. When we would get back to Masira Island in Oman, senior people would come to us and say, "How'd you get in there? The folks in the 50th couldn't make it in." And we said, "Hey, probably because they didn't get trained enough."
I love it. I love it. But
And
once-
that's and matter of fact, those missions were with the West Virginia Air National Guard.
Oh,
We
wow.
were flying out of the 167th then.
wow, that's great.
Oh yes.
So where did you grow up?
Of all places, I grew up in New York City. New York City. Yeah, New York City. But a lot of people say, "You ever going to go back there?" I said, "The only reason I even stepped foot in New York City is because my 91-year-old mother still lives there. But otherwise, that place would never see me again."
Yeah.
I'm a West Virginian by choice. I've lived Sacramento, California, Biloxi, Mississippi, Little Rock, Arkansas, Tokyo, Japan, Hagerstown, Maryland, Northern Virginia, and Alexandria and Arlington. I live all the places, but West Virginia is for me because
Special
of the
place.
people.
It's a special place.
It is.
I started my radio career just outside of D.C. in Southern Maryland,
Uh-huh.
down in Mechanicsville, Maryland.
Oh,
Actually.
okay.
And so I know that area quite well up there. And I was up there for over 11 years. I've been out in Cleveland, Ohio,
Oh.
and then moved back to Maryland again. And then the guy that owned the radio station at the time gave me a call and said, "Hey, would you ever think about getting back into radio?" I said, "Keep talking." And he said, "How about coming home?" I said, "Really keep talking."
All right.
So I got myself back here 14 years ago, and I'm not leaving.
That's right. I tell you, I have a lot of friends who keep saying, "Hey, you going to come back to D.C.?" And I go, "Why would I?
Right.
For more than twice the cost of living,
It's a great-
traffic, and
great
people
place
who
to
don't talk
visit.
to you." Yeah, West Virginia.
Yeah.
is my home. Do or die.
The people in West Virginia, I've said it everywhere that I've lived, and the people in West Virginia are a special breed of people.
Oh yeah.
We help each other.
Yep.
And kind of like we were talking in the military, you guys had everybody in the military has each other's backs.
That's right.
And that's the way the state of West Virginia is.
Oh yes.
All the people that live here, your neighbor, you're watching out for your neighbor,
Oh yes.
and you know your neighbor.
My neighbors will sometimes call me and say, "Hey, you have a package. You want us to hold it for you?" And I go, "Because I'm out of town a lot."
Yeah.
And I go, "Yes, please." But
Thank you.
yeah, thank you. When I lived in the D.C. area, no one would do that.
No.
My packages would just disappear.
Exactly. The porch pirates are very active up there,
Ooh. Oh yes.
but you don't have that much trouble in West Virginia because, like I said, everybody looks out for one another, and it's a great place.
Oh yes.
My brother said that his best place that he was stationed was in Germany because Germany reminded him so much of home.
Oh my goodness. All right. I tell you what. As you drive around West Virginia, especially with a lot of the trees and such, yeah, I can see that in parts of Germany.
Yeah.
I can say, yeah, it does look the same.
Yeah, he said that not only that, but the local Germans in that area.
Mm-hmm.
He said it was just fantastic. They were all super nice to him, and constantly, inviting him to go do things with them.
Ah,
and,
yeah.
He had a great time while he was over there.
Oof. I've
He
been
learned a
deployed
lot
to
about
Germany
their
a lot,
culture.
and I love the people there.
Yeah, he learned a lot about their culture while he was there, so
Mhm.
it was kind of nice. I can see where he's coming from because when I got to go over there, I was like 13. He was stationed in Germany, and I went over and spent the summer with him. And the countryside does remind you of West Virginia.
Oh yes.
I mean, it's not, it's rolling hills and, it's like home. The only difference is if you've ever been in the woods in Germany, they're clear. The farmers and landowners keep that completely clear.
Keep it
There is
pristine.
there
Yes.
is no underbrush.
Yep.
in
If
the
you ever
woods.
go into the Black Forest there, it's like, okay, this is like something out of a movie. It's just
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, it's like, and you're walking down the streets early of the morning in Germany, they have no paved driveways. It's
Mhm.
all red dirt.
Mm-hmm.
And every morning when you go down through, if you're walking, the German women are out there
Sweep them.
sweeping
Yep.
that dirt. If there is gravel that comes in off of the road, they pick it up and take it back to the road. I mean, they keep
Yep.
their, and I said, you don't have problems with it rutting out in the wintertime and stuff? No. It's packed so hard, and it is. I mean, they said if you tried to dig here,
Good
you'd
luck.
never do it.
That's one thing the Germans do. Even on their highways, their asphalt, they make it about twice as thick as what we do
Yes.
here, and so they don't. And so here in West Virginia, of course, you see highway work 24/7 every
Yeah.
year, all year, every year. But in Germany, you don't see that
Nope.
much because their roads last.
Yep. It's what you put into it.
That's right. There you have it.
All right, bud.
Uh,
I have had a very enjoyable time talking to you. Maybe we'll get to talk again before I get out of here.
All right,
But,
excellent. I look
um,
forward to it.
Have a great time, and
certainly will.
I know you're wanting to get around and talk to some of these youth that are here. And,
Oh yes,
and-
I want to see how many of them are our future leaders.
Exactly. All right. Have a great day,
I
and
certainly
thank
will.
you for coming on with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
All right,
Have a great day.
will do.
All right, folks, and that was Brigadier General Christopher Walker, and we want to thank him for all of his service while he was in the Air Force. And you know, like he said, his dad wanted him to be a doctor, and that was not in his cards. He knew that from an early age that he wanted to be in the air, and he did it. He did it in a great way. He served our country with honor, and we thank him for all of that service. And we're going to have another person come on with us here in just a minute or two. I believe she is over here, and that is Victoria Yeager. She grew up in Philadelphia, and she'll be telling us about the first time that she met General Chuck Yeager, and that is her late great husband. And she is a phenomenal person. I've already talked to her briefly, and she said, "Well, let's let the general go on before me, and then I'll come on and talk with you." But she's got some great stories to tell you. She's also got a couple books out there. We'll touch base on those as well. And you need to go look those up and order you a copy, and you'll enjoy those. We're going to go radio silent for just a few minutes, and then we will be back here at Jackson County Regional Airport. We are back live, and I have got a very, very special guest that I'm excited to talk to. I have got Miss Victoria Yeager.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. And kind of let folks know your history as far as when you met the general for the first time and bring it up because you and I talked off of the air and I found that very interesting.
Yeah, it was. The luckiest day of my life was the day I met him. Actually.
Exactly. So you said you were hiking?
I was hiking. I had a deal from a network, or they were offering a deal, but they were gutting the whole project, the meat of the project, and they were trying to cheat me out of money. So I thought, oh my goodness, do I really want to do this? It was significant money, but I just anyway. So I go out to the place I used to hike a lot. It was a beautiful March spring day. The flowers were plentiful and different colors, and I was walking up the hill. I'd never seen anybody on that trail, but just one other guy, a black guy with two German shepherds. I always felt safe when I saw him. And so there's nobody there, and then I spy this guy walking down, and the sun is behind him, so it's like he has this halo.
Right.
And I said, great day. And he said, I just got back from Australia. And I said, I just got back from Africa. I was trying to doing volunteer work, and now I have to fill the coffers. Can you help me? And so he said, I said, what were you doing in Australia? And he said, I was teaching software. I said, great, I can do that. Can you get me a job? And he said, no, I'm not a software guy. I'm a fighter pilot. I'm Chuck Yeager. And I'm thinking, wait, is he the Chuck Yeager? Wait, is that a common name in the military? Who was Chuck Yeager? And he said, I said, okay, will you take me up in a fighter jet? And he said, no, that costs tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars. And I said, I pay taxes. And he said, I got to go. So he starts down. And I said, okay, you won't get me a job. You won't take me in a fighter jet. You want to go hiking tomorrow. And he looks at his watch and he said, it's 3 o'clock. That's my truck down there. It's got an X1 on it. Do you know what that is? I thought, I used to be so good in school, and I know. And he said, broke the sound barrier. And I said, oh, that's right. That's you. I saw the movie. And he said, what movie? He still wasn't sure about me. I said, The Right Stuff. And he goes, oh, all righty then. He takes down the hill. Then a few more steps later, he said, now, wait a minute. Yes. And he said, I'm older than you. You can't walk too fast. And I said, we're 50 feet from the start of the trail. You think I stopped to talk to you? I'm tired. So the next day we met and went hiking. We went flying, and we had dinner.
Wow. What a great story. And then the rest is history.
The rest is history, right. Well, it's the middle of nowhere, so my friend said it was meant to be, because when you're single, you go all sorts of places where people are supposed to be.
Right, exactly. And you were out in the middle of nowhere, and lo and behold.
Right, the right guy comes along.
With the right stuff.
Exactly.
I couldn't resist.
All the right stuff, yeah.
Exactly. But, growing up, I always heard about General Yeager and admired him. Being a West Virginian, true,
right,
through and through, that meant a lot.
Right.
That he achieved so many different things in his lifetime. And not everybody gets that opportunity.
Right. Well, he said he was at the right place at the right time.
Exactly.
Very humble guy.
Yeah.
But really, nobody at that time could have broken the sound barrier, flown that plane. Everybody before that died.
That's what I had always been told, that, he was the best, the very best that we had at the time.
Right. And, he was the most junior test pilot when they chose him. And Colonel Boyd had every single test pilot in and said, why do you want to fly this plane? And really quizzed them. And Chuck's answer was, looks like a neat airplane to fly.
Yeah.
So there's no bravado, no nothing. It's like, it's another airplane. Okay, I'm out. I'm ready. But
the question that I have for you, was he as laid back as he was portrayed?
He was. He was laid back, but at the same time, he could be very passionate.
Well, I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was very passionate about any aircraft that he ever set foot in.
I'll give you an example of laid back. We're in Afghanistan. We've just flown. We've just gone to the wrong air base. We've got everything. We hadn't slept in 40 hours. and we're in Kandahar. They said we were going to Kabul, and we get off, and that's not how you spell Kabul. I know that. So 4 hours later, they figure out where we should go, and they're going to take us. So we don't know yet. We get on this plane. There's a pilot, co-pilot. Chuck's in the navigator seat, which is now antiquated, and I'm sitting in the back bench. We take off, and he says, now he hasn't slept in 40 hours, and he says, where are we going? And the two pilots look at each other. Oh, this older man, he was 89, and they're just, I came out of my shoes about to bonk their heads together. I said, wait a minute. They said we're going to Kabul. I know you don't spell it Kandahar. Where are we going now? We figure you know where we're going, at least right now. And they said, oh, sorry, ma'am. Sorry, sir. Sorry, ma'am. Yeah, Mazi Sharif. So then we go along for another 20 minutes, and suddenly Chuck yells out, brake! And they said, what? And he said, brake! And they said, which way? Anyway, it's coming right at you. So they do a big old wing over in this cargo plane. There are a few guys in the back. I hope they were strapped in. And then as we're going straight and level, another plane comes the other direction just where we had just been. And we go along a little bit. The pilots are frazzled. General Yeager's just calm as can be. I'm calm because we've got General Yeager sitting in the navigator seat, right? And I watched that plane go by going, whoa, whoa. And then after the pilots calmed down, General Yeager said, don't you guys look out the window? We're in a no radar zone. I mean, we're in the war zone.
Right. Oh, my.
So, yeah, he was calm, cool, and collected.
Wow.
But that saved his life a lot. You know,
I'm sure.
People would say, didn't you pray? And he said, no, I didn't have time to pray. You can pray your way all the way down into a smoking hole. I had to fix the problem.
Exactly. Well,
Plus,
that's wonderful.
yeah.
Oh, man. I had always heard that he was very calm, cool, and collected, but Mr. Johnny on the spot when you needed him.
Oh, yes. Oh, absolutely. I was really grateful. I learned so much from him. We went up in the High Sierra, and I thought to myself, we were up there for 2 weeks. I would not have brought enough supplies. I wouldn't have known what I was doing. But with him, I was quite safe and quite comfortable.
Huh.
And he actually has a little booklet of what you should bring if you're going up for 2 weeks.
Research completely.
Right, right. With little attaboys, too, because if you go up the hill and you're carrying a 50-pound pack and you get up to the top, he'd have a little Werther's butterscotch you could have. Otherwise, it was golden trout or raisins or almonds or beef jerky.
Oh, wow. But we were talking about you've got a couple books out, too.
I do. It's pretty exciting. So General Yeager showed his oral history. He was speaking at the Air and Space Museum, and Mr. Random House or Bantam Random House came up to him, and Ballantyne. He came up to him and he said, "You should do a book." And General Yeager said, "I'm a pilot. I'm not a writer." He's actually a beautiful writer. But anyway, so then they got the oral history and they sent it to Random House. And Ian Ballantyne said, "Yeah, this will work." And that's how that book came. And it sold over 1.2 million copies when a bestseller was a bestseller. Now
Right.
it's just 5,000.
Right.
It's, you know. So then he and I were kind of working on the one, and he kept saying, "We should write a book about us." And I said, "Yeah, but we're too busy living life and to sit down and write it. We're just out there." So after he passed, I started assembling Chuck Yeagerisms. So I wrote 101 Chuck Yeagerisms. There's actually 131, but that doesn't make a good title. So I wrote that, and that's doing very well. And then I sat down and I had stories I'd written over the years about our life together. Thank goodness, because there's some details that were pretty funny
I'm
that
sure.
I didn't remember. So until I saw them again, and then so I assembled that, and that just came out in March. And so it's pretty
Wow.
fun. There's 18 pages of photos of us.
I'll need to try to find that.
I have it's actually in the lobby.
Oh, okay.
I'll sign it for you.
But yeah,
It's really fun, and it's vignettes. So both of my books are for people who don't like to get too involved, or I'm one of those people. It takes me forever to get involved, and so I don't like to end a book because then I have to get involved in something. These are vignettes, so you can read one and maybe skip to another one if you feel like it.
Right.
And same with the 101 Chuck Yeagerisms. Those are one a page kind of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
But
And one of them is first time I saw a jet, I shot it down. And another one, he was shot down, and then after you're shot down, he got back and he wanted to get back on combat. And they said, but if you're shot down again, you might be tortured and give up all the positions. And he said, ain't a German in the world can catch a West Virginian in the woods. So
I was going to ask you, how many times in his career did he have the experience of being shot down or an aircraft failing on him?
So he was shot down once, but he had 3 more takeoffs than landing in his airplane.
Oh,
He
wow.
landed in a parachute or a ejection, whatever.
Right. But I'm sure he had some close calls with aircraft malfunctioning and
Oh, indeed. The X-1A, he went out to,
Right.
there was they say that Scott Crossfield went Mach 2. Scott Crossfield himself said maybe I didn't, because that airplane was not able to go Mach 2, but okay. Didn't matter. You didn't learn anything new. It was just a round number. So Chuck, 2 weeks later, went off and he went to 2.44, but it had too small a tail. So he ended up turning on all 3 axes. Spinning on all 3 axes, and
Right.
so and then he got knocked out, hit the canopy, and then he came to. He was in an inverted spin, and he recognized that, got into a regular spin, got out of the spin, and brought it home. And even Scott Crossfield, supposedly his rival, not really, he said Chuck Yeager was the only one that could have brought that plane home that day.
Wow.
But he had a wife he loved. I mean, Glamorous Glennis was glamorous. She was beautiful, and so he definitely wanted to live. He's like, I
Exactly,
got to go
right.
home to Glennis.
But so do you do many speaking engagements throughout?
I do a handful. If I'm traveling somewhere to see a friend or something, I'll call up the Aero Club and say, hey, you want me to come give a talk? And then here, we were doing the General Chuck Yeager Aviation Day. We were trying to maybe do it at Yeager Airport.
Right.
That was not the best place, so we came here. Sam Dennis, the airport director, is extraordinary.
Oh, he's a great guy.
I would go to him and say, hey, what do you think about doing this? And he would either already have done it, or 2 days later he would have done something far better than I imagined. He's terrific. He knows
Yes.
what he's doing. He's been educated by his dad too. He's got that longevity and experience. Just a great, great person.
Well, we were supposed to be here last year for this event as well, and we were just so booked up that we just couldn't do it. And we promised him this year that we would be here.
Thank you.
And I'm really glad that I got to come, because this has been a lot of fun down here today.
Great. I'm glad you came.
And the general, when I had him on there a little bit ago, it was unbelievable, some of the stories that he was telling, and how he passionately, from the age of 5 years old, wanted to be in the sky.
Yeah.
And he made it.
Yep, he did. He's amazing too. He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah. And I just had a wonderful time talking with him, and thanked him for all of his service. And, I don't think people do that enough. Our military people that keep us safe and free.
Right.
They go through a lot.
There's a lot of, when people say thank you for your service too, there's a lot of virtual signaling. It's not, they don't really understand what
Exactly.
what that means.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But this old West Virginian country boy, I know what it means.
Yes.
And it comes from inside here.
Me too.
Every
'Cause
time I say it, because, each and every one of those guys and women that have devoted their life to the military, and they're doing this to keep us safe and free. And it's, I don't know, I get kind of emotional when I start to even
Sure,
think about
sure.
it, because, they have that in their heart to take care of all of us.
One time Chuck and I went hunting out of a helicopter. We're hunting pigs down
Oh,
in
wow.
South Texas. They were a nuisance, but the first year he shot actually 59 pigs with 50 shots, something like that, in an hour. I was the spotter. And this is show you how silly I said, oh my goodness, this is just like war. And our pilot was a ex-Vietnam, he was a Vietnam vet. And Chuck said he was so good he would lead or pace the pigs so Chuck didn't have to lead them. He could just shoot at the pigs. So, and it was with a shotgun. That's how he was able to shoot that many
Oh,
with
wow.
one. So I said, oh, this is just like war. And Chuck, silly me. 2 people have been at war, right? He said, no, the pigs aren't shooting back at you. It's like, and I felt so small. I'm so sorry. Good thing you 2 have a good sense of humor.
Exactly, right? But, yeah, that part of your life has had to be one of the best times.
Absolutely. The best time. I mean, I had
Exactly.
traveled around the world. I had done a whole lot. A lot of the women between Glennis and me, it was about 9 years and 3 months, they wanted to go to cocktail parties with him and things like that. It's like, I've been to enough cocktail parties. I'd met enough famous
Let's go
people.
on an adventure.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, an adventure with Chuck Yeager. Before I had adventures, but it's not the same as with Chuck Yeager.
Exactly.
Very,
I'm
very
sure of
blessed.
that. I
Yeah.
am very sure of that. I'm
Yeah.
sure that, he always picked probably the most dangerous but fun things to
But
do.
he didn't want to go sailing. I'm a sailor as well.
Yeah.
And he said it's too dull. But I've been in 4-7 winds where you're tilting almost, perpendicular. So
But he's been,
yeah, I know. Okay, yes.
inverted.
Yes, exactly. Yes. But sailing helped me with learning to fly. He taught me how to fly, so that was
Right.
great.
But yeah, I just wish I would have, at some point before he passed away, I wish I would have gotten the opportunity to meet him.
Well, at home he was even better than in public. I mean, our arguments lasted 5 minutes. And then he'd have me rolling on the floor laughing. Because, when you fought a war, everything is small stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And we were
mean,
also old enough that I recognized that was small stuff.
Yeah. And he definitely had a career that was worth talking about.
Well, and he was smart because he just wanted to keep flying.
Yeah.
So he would always try to pick out his next job. And when he was in Pakistan, he actually had a trip back to the States, and he went into the office that decides what your next job is, and he sort of lobbied for the safety director of safety, so he could go fly and check out every accident that happened. And he changed the rules and saving yours. If you've ever been on a commercial airline, he saved our lives. And this is why. What he did was, when he came in, there was a primary cause and secondary causes. So as you can imagine, they'd fix the primary cause. They wouldn't fix any of the secondary until they became a primary cause. So he made it an all-cause accident. And then what happened was NASA was behind. They just didn't listen to the Air Force enough.
Right.
And so they found out that they had 36 things wrong. They fixed 34. 35 and 36 were the tiles. And that's why they had that accident. They could have prevented it. So Chuck was really, you talk about, was it cool, calm, and collected? He still was, but he was very angry at the deaths that didn't have to happen.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
Because if they would have followed.
Yes. Well, same thing with the NF-104 accident. Gus Grissom would be alive if they had done what they had suggested. But the last job they wanted to give him was a job in the Pentagon, because it's now you have to fill these slots, and they don't think what's the best place for this guy or gal. You have to fill a slot. So they wanted him to go in the Pentagon. He'd get a second star, and he said, "Yeah, I'm done. I'm not going in. I'm not going to fly a desk. That's not the best use of my time. Hate politics." In fact, his quote about politics is, "Quit talking politics. You're giving me indigestion." When General Yeager says it more forcefully than I just did, "You quit talking politics."
Exactly. But, I mean, putting him behind a desk, I can't even remotely imagine.
No,
he wouldn't have.
no,
He
it's the
wouldn't have
same.
lasted a week.
No, it's the same thing when they ask him, "Did you want to be an astronaut?" Remember the early days, they weren't flying. They were just sitting in there. And the monkeys were first, right?
Yeah.
So they asked him, Walter Cronkite, on television when the shuttle was coming down, asked him, "Didn't you want to be an astronaut?" He said, "Nah, I didn't want to wipe the monkey crap off the seat before I sat down." He could, I know the excuse is he didn't have a college education, but all the schools he went to, they give out a master's or a PhD. And so that really was a public excuse. If he had wanted to do it, he could have. But as David Scott, an astronaut, said, no, he had a brilliant flying career. He would have been bored sitting in a capsule for even a day. So,
Yeah.
and he did see the curvature of the Earth, so he is technically an astronaut. They decided 50 miles with space in 1959, the Fédération Aéronautique Internationale, and that was just for security. So every country owns up to 50 miles. It's not science.
Mm.
So he is technically an astronaut, but he didn't care. He didn't care if he had the nomenclature or not.
Yeah.
The only thing he would have liked to have done, he said, was to land the shuttle,
pretty
actually fly it and land it. You know, we would have had Stephen Kuntz here if the weather had been really good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Nice man.
Yeah.
He was just inducted into the West Virginia Aviation Hall of Fame. Whoa. We'll have to talk to that pilot, right?
Exactly, right? About got our canopy anyway.
Goodness.
This thing.
And why there? Why can't you? Silly.
This canopy has rolled several times, so.
Okay.
But that's a pretty aircraft, though.
I like high wing. Better view.
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming on with us, and hope you have a great day here.
I'm having a great day, and you are part of it. I appreciate that. Thank you
Okay.
very much.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the patch. This will go on our board
Great.
at the station,
Great.
and I think they need to look at that as the logo down at Charleston.
Good
I
idea.
really do.
Yeah, they should.
All right.
Thank you.
and have a great day.
You too. Thank you.
All right. And folks, that was phenomenal. I really enjoyed talking to Victoria and also talking to General Walker earlier. This has been a great day down here at Jackson County at the regional airport. It is, unfortunately, it is 11 o'clock. I've got to break things down. We'll be headed over to Arnoldsburg for the Molasses Festival, and that will be we'll be on the air over there shortly, a little bit after 12. So be watching for that. We'll go live over there, and we'll have some fun. So you all have a great day. We'll be back in just a little while from the Molasses Festival over in Arnoldsburg, West Virginia.